What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're talking about the calves, why they're stubborn, why they're so hard to grow, and a couple tips to help you get them bigger. Because I know for me and a lot of people, some people, they just don't want to grow, and I'm definitely one of those people. So let's get right into it. Alright, so I know I don't really have massive calves to speak on for this video anyway, but there are a couple tips and tricks that I've been doing in my training anyway that I think has helped them get quite a bit better, quite a bit faster. Obviously, there's still like a big weak point on my physique, but I think they're slowly getting better and they're slowly catching up. So first off, let's discuss why they're actually so hard to grow for a lot of people. And first up, a lot of it comes down to your genetics. See, the reason why some people, they struggle so hard to grow their calves is because of the insertion point. If you have shorter inserting calves, it's gonna make them a lot harder to look really big than if you had a longer inserting calf. Also, there are two main types of muscle fibers in our body. There are slow twitch muscle fibers, which are much better for like endurance and stuff like that, and fast twitch muscle fibers, which are much better for like short bursts of energy, so like a 1 rep max and stuff like that, and basically any kind of lifting weights. And the slow twitch, better for more cardio based exercises. And the calves, unfortunately, have quite a bit more slow twitch muscle fibers than fast twitch, because when you think about it, whenever you walk around and everything like that, your calves are always working, which means the slow twitch, it's basically, by an evolutionary standpoint, they just have more slow twitch muscle fibers, which are not as conducive to getting as big as those fast twitch muscle fibers. So that's another reason why they're so stubborn, because we're always walking on them every single day, so they're constantly firing. So through evolution, they have more slow twitch muscle fibers. Alright, so you may be thinking, well, that freaking sucks. Am I screwed? And am I gonna have small calves for the rest of my life? Well, there may be some hope. The first tip I have for you is whenever you do calves, always do them with a straight knee. I would not recommend doing any seated calf raise, and that's for the main reason is when you do a seated calf raise, you're putting your calves under a much less degree of stretch because you're bending the knee, and the gastrocnemius muscle in the calf crosses the knee joint. So as you straighten your knee, your calf stretches a lot more, and when you bend your knee, it contracts more. So in order to engage that gastrocnemius muscle a lot more, you definitely want to have that straight knee. For a long time, we always thought that seated calf raises were better at targeting the soleus muscle and standing were better for the gastrocnemius, but new studies suggest anyway that the standing calf raise is way better for the gastrocnemius and equally as good for the soleus muscle. So there's really no point to doing a seated calf raise, really. I mean, unless that's all you have, it's certainly going to do something, but I would always recommend doing a straight knee. And if you watch any of my, leg day videos or whatnot, whenever you see me train calves, I always have a straight knee. I usually do it on my belt squat, and I go up like that. The next tip I have is I would recommend always going to failure on calves, because the calves, they're all constantly firing or whatever. When we're walking, we really gotta push them hard. If we're stopping on calves, you're not stopping 3 reps shy. They ain't gonna freaking grow. You need to be pushing hard on calves because they are so stubborn. And this next tip may be a slightly debated tip, but I actually got this one from Jeff Nippert, and that's only doing long length partials when you're doing calf raises. You know, the stretch mediating hypertrophy evidence is very strong, I would say, and because the calves are so stubborn, I do think it would make a little bit more sense to try and lean into that a little more, especially for the calves. And I've only been doing lengthened partials on my calves for probably like a year straight now, and I think I've seen the best gains from them I've ever seen. Even though they're still microscopic, I've definitely noticed some improvements by only doing long length partials. I would also recommend doing higher reps for calves, so upwards, maybe around like the 15 to 20 rep range. That's personally what I do. I find that if I do like sets of like 8 and 10 and stuff like that, I don't know. It just, because the calves again have more of those slow twitch muscle fibers, I guess you can lean into that a little bit more by, you know, doing higher reps. But I always find that when I do low reps for calves, they never seem to get sore. But if I do higher reps and high volume, they definitely get sore. And soreness is a good indicator of hypertrophy if you're, you know, training them with weights and you're focusing on the stretch and so on. Alrighty, so those are my tips, guys. Let me know if you agree with any of them, and let me know, do you have stubborn calves or are your calves freaking massive? You probably fall in the I have shitty calves versus I have amazing diamond calves. So let me know where you fall in there in the comments. I'm definitely in the shitty calf area, but I'm working on it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.